Today, we're gonna talk to Bailey, one of the co-founders of Call.com, which is a tool that I absolutely love.
I'm the co-founder and CEO of Call.com. We've been going for like 5 years by now, which is crazy. It feels like just yesterday that it was like a fun little like indie open source project. Yeah, Call.com, if you're not familiar, is a scheduling infrastructure company. You know, when you book appointments with your local government or when you book through a telehealth platform, things are using Call.com under the hood. In the same way that most people don't know that they're using Resend under the hood because they're just interacting with the application. Same kind of thing with Call.com.
You started when you were 17, right? Can you tell me more about that journey of like getting started?
I'll actually say some stuff that I haven't said before to make it a little bit unique. I had a moderate social life, you know, it's not that bad, but yeah, I was like building a bunch of stuff. And one day I basically randomly bumped into my co-founder, Pierre, on the internet. We were both looking to build a Calendly alternative. And, you know, for the first time in like 20 different projects, this one actually took off. But, you know, I didn't have high expectations.
That's fascinating. And you guys build the company in such a different way. The fact that you are an open startup, you share publicly like salaries and stuff that normal people will think like, wow, this is insane. What are the effects of that decision?
We were open source for the first almost 5 years. And then a few months ago, we kind of took over the internet a little bit when we announced that we were going closed source because of all of the crazy AI stuff that's picking up crazy vulnerabilities. And a lot of people are saying, oh no, you know, open source is always like a viral growth hack and things like that. The truth is it wasn't. Now, can open source be a good growth hack? Can open startup be a good growth hack? Yes. We genuinely cared about it, and we cared about doing all of this like open salaries, open startup. And sometimes that doesn't meet reality. And then, you know, suddenly Mythos comes along and then, you know, everybody's finding crazy bugs. And then for us, we decided to change that. We haven't made a single dollar more because we went closed source. We didn't profit off of taking away anything. Nobody can sit there and say that their company, that their software is entirely safe from AI and Mythos. We all have vulnerabilities. It's not perfect, but it reduces risk.
That's awesome. And I know with scheduling comes a lot of email too. So I'm super curious to hear more about how you're dealing with email.
We send very high volumes of email. And then as well, on top of that, we have an internal system where basically when you sign up for an account, it's going to send you an email from me. And it's going to say like, hey, noticed you signed up, you know, like, do you need any help getting started, anything I can do? And it's more of just like a personal note from me. And then when they reply, it actually comes to my inbox. Half the replies I get are like, no way are you actually reading this, but it is me. They all get read by me.
That's awesome, man. I would love to see how you're dealing with that. Let's check it out. So I'm super excited to get to know how you're using email, how you're thinking about like go-to-market and Call.com. Can you show us a little bit about like how you manage that part?
Yeah, I mean, I could just show you regular Call.com, but like anybody can see that with a free plan. This is like the cool stuff. I actually built like an internal GTM dashboard. I feel like most GTM teams are just completely burdened by like stitching together all these SaaS apps. You got to get your data in the right place. I'm like, why not just vibe code a GTM platform where basically we can, you know, like connect to the right sources, do all of the data manipulation, and then just send the emails with Resend right within the platform.
I love
Super easy. You can see we sent like almost 10K emails already in the last 24 hours. So we have all of these different jobs or like automations. And as you can see, they run in different schedules. So some of them run once a day. The sign up one runs, you know, like once every hour. And basically we can go to the automations page here and it's got everything. So we have like an abandoned cart email. So Stripe fires a webhook straight to this. And then we basically just ask Resend, oh yeah, like send them an email. Really simple, and it just gets triggered on like, you know, webhooks. Or we even have stuff like, you know, drip campaign day 0. So you can see here it runs like every hour. and it sends like 152, 120, 116 here. And it's just like a personalized email from me, which asks what brought them to cow.com. We even have our own template editor and everything like that in here. So we can go
you built a whole product here.
Yeah.
Oh, a whole email editor.
Yeah. It has like variables, and you can do variable fallbacks, and you can preview it on mobile. So yeah, this is what you get. It just says, I'm Bailey, one of the co-founders of cow.com, like wanted to drop in and ask what made you sign up today. And I actually do get all of these responses, and I respond to them in due course. I kid you not as well, we even have like A/B testing. So you can actually do A/Bs and have it different weights and things like that. So we basically just set it all up within here, and then we just obviously like our trigger.dev worker, which runs like every hour or every day, is just going to go ahead and send that out to Resend, and obviously process, you know, a fairly large amount of things. We also subscribe to Resend, like pinging us whenever there's like a bounce or anything like that. Because some people do sign up to cow.com with the dodgy email. So that goes ahead, it even suppresses it at our level, just so we have a good record as well of, you know, what's bounced and everything like that.
Nice. Can I see your recent dashboard? Is that okay?
Yeah. So yeah, what you can see here is you have all of these individual emails, and if we just go into one of them, you can see that it's just gone ahead and sent it out from gtm.cow.com.
Oh, I see. That's super cool. And you mentioned like getting the webhooks back and all the bounces. So is that configured through webhooks? Is that it?
Yeah, so we actually have a webhook over here, which goes to gtm.cow.com. And then, yeah, you can see actually that we have a series of events coming through here. So email bounced, and then that's just going to go ahead and add it to gtm.cow.com suppressions list. Because then that way we're combining bounces, we're combining unsubscribes, because we wanted to have unsubscribe based on the campaign level or on a global level. You know, just in case we want to do that. The webhook thing, that took like 2 seconds. It just becomes ridiculously easy to do it. I mean, you know, aside from like the first time that I used Resend ever was like probably before vibe coding, and it was already the easiest developer experience. Now I find Resend is also the easiest AI experience. I think like I use this across so many side projects. I also have a personal like trading bot. I use Fable to like, I'm like, create a money printer, make no mistakes. And like, I need notifications whenever it like makes trades, or if certain data sources go offline. And like, it was just so easy to just boom, get Resend to send emails, and whatever stack it is, you know, like that's using Python. I have no idea how to use Python. And I'm just like, use Resend, and it just sends me stuff. So yeah, personal projects, it just works, you know. And I've never had AI mess up a Resend implementation. You know, doing like SMTP or SES or anything like that, you know, like it's a bit of a uphill battle with AI. Resend, you must have done something really good for this, but like it just one-shots it perfectly every time. Resend is like the only one where I've been like, yep, 10 out of 10, no notes. It's easy.
That's awesome.
Something that I don't want to understate, because it's quite important, is just how easy it is to go through the logs and everything that are on here. And then it's really hard to get into deliverability metrics. We had such a pain with that before. Obviously, we get, with the volume of emails we send, there's always a customer that doesn't get our email, probably because of their fault. Here, I just logs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, I can see the API call, it did this, or I can see, you know, like any of my deliverability metrics, or just like anything in here. Obviously, yeah, we can see every time a webhook bounced. Whenever I need to, whether it's debugging something as a developer or like customer support going through and, you know, checking on something, like I say, this is just easy.
You're gonna appreciate something that I pushed last week. Since you like logs, go to the logs page. This one was one that I was really proud. Go to any log here, one of the emails. So now on the response body, we have like links on each one of the IDs. So you can navigate between the IDs.
Okay, this is what I mean. Like, I don't get paid to say good stuff about Resend, but like genuinely, like this is the kind of stuff all of your email platforms, any of the legacy ones, are just annoying. Imagine one where somebody has thought about every little bit like this, and it's just, yeah, that's easy. You know, suddenly I can see exactly, you know, what was sent. Bam.
Bailey, thank you so much, man. This was super cool. Yeah, thanks for taking the time.
Oh, of course, thank you.